Core thing in the data flow is the movement of the data, whether you can do a minimal transformations and process the data and move to the target location. So moving further, we'll see how this data flows are very beneficial, like what are their benefits, or how do we move the data, why it is more simplified, when do we use it. Basically, when you see the pipelines and when you see the data flows, why the data flow is termed separate capability when it is already a part of a pipeline. So because it has a simplified data preparation and transformation benefit, where we will be able to move the data, simplify the data, and different locations. Suppose if you have the data in a GitHub, now you want to pull the data, and before just loading into Lakehouse, you just want to make a small column change. Then it is very easy to add one column while pulling your data from the source before loading it into the Lakehouse. So this is the simplified preparation and transformation data flow. Minimize all the manual extraction and transformation process, so your job is fastened. The next advantage of using this is it has a centralized staging and reusability benefit. So whenever I tell it is a centralized staging and reusability benefit, it allows you to stage your clean data and transform data in a single or a convenient location. As I am telling you, when you pick up the data from a GitHub location and you have done a minimal transformation and you have stored it in a convenient location, that is the lakehouse. So that is what it tells. And easy to reuse a same high quality data across different layers of analytics. So you once the data is in the lakehouse, you can even connect it to different workloads for downstreaming it. So whenever there is a minimal requirement or a minimal insight from a particular data. Last part of this data flow is integration with the pipelines and Power BI. As I told you, downstreaming tools like Power BI or Tableau, but Power BI is already a product of a Microsoft. You can seamlessly incorporate these data flows into the larger pipelines, and for complex orchestrations, you can use the small data flows inside your big pipeline. So this acts as a button of operations inside your architecture of pipelines, or you can use them as a standalone resources within Power BI. So as I told you, you can just directly pull the data from the data lakehouse, which this data has been bought from the data flow. So that was about some benefits of data flows. So how do we use them? In order to use them, we would use them in our ETL process or integration, and we can use this data flow templates if you're going to use the same filter, same transformation on the same data. So in the ETL process, in simple, if I could tell you what is ETL process is, you are going to extract the data from a particular source or a number of sources, then apply a transformations on that in the staging area, then transform it and load it to a target location. So this is called as a ETL process. Data flow plays a particular role in this ETL process because of this ETL process where you can do minimal transformation. So it is the one of the capability of the data factory where you can do minimal transformations in this ETL process. So you can load the raw data into the lakehouse, then leverage this data flow for cleaning and transformation. Suppose, as I told you, like you're bringing the data from the GitHub, then doing a minimal transformation. Still, you have not cleaned the data, but still you have done a very minimal transformation just by adding a column to the data that is borrowed from the GitHub.
Minimal code is enough to do all the activity, right? So
Yes,
here,
yes.
minimal transformation means
For example, you just want to add one column to the current file which you are bringing from your external source. You have a data already in a GitHub. You just want to bring it to your lakehouse. But before you bring it to your lakehouse, you just want to add one column, or you just want
okay.
to filter the data if you want to filter the null values inside your data. So these are the
Okay.
very minimal transformations. So that can be done even without writing a complex queries. So you will be
Okay.
just using the UI part to do that. So that
Okay.
is the beauty of data flow in data
Okay.
factory.
Okay,
Okay.
Anja, thank you.
Okay. So moving forward, as I told you, there's data flows are incorporated in the pipelines and consumed directly by the Power BI for analytics. So in terms of analytics, Either you can combine it with the pipelines and run it with the huge pipelines and then downstream it, or in some cases, if you want to just a part of data needs to be analyzed and get some insights, you can just directly connect to your lakehouse. So reusability, as I've told you earlier, you can transform logic is reusable. So, and the data flows can be partitioned or specialized for different analyst groups. So if you're using the same logic, it can be reused again and again. So these are the benefits in short. Gives you a good data consistency and performance optimization, to some extent a good data quality assurance and self-service access, where you manually don't require any developer to do build this data flow. It is even a layman person can build this data flow, and it's a simplified integration. So where and all this data flow can be used? So inside a data factory workload, ideally for data ingestion and orchestration, and even in the Power BI workspace for reporting focus scenarios. Suppose you're focusing only on particular data where you want to report only the sales or the revenues of the particular LOBs, line of businesses, then this data flows good to use. So, and the second thing is you have a data in your lakehouse, and you can directly integrate transformations with your lakehouse. Like you have a data in lakehouse, just plug with it and do some transformations and use it for reporting. So these are the three places where data flows works well. So this is the workflows canvas. This is called as a Power Query interface. So whenever we want to create a data flow, first thing is you need to understand what is a Power Query. So it's an interface when you want to create a data flow. Once you are connected to your source, then you will be able to see this. So let us understand what are the menu bars and the toolbars specified with these numbers. So the first one is Power Ribbon, which just shows how do you get the data. Suppose your data is in different cloud or an external source. So you will be able to see how to get it from the external resources by using all the options. So second one is, as you can see here, this is the queries pane where you can see the in the form of tables. So suppose here they have loaded the orders data, and you will be able to see the table on which the operations are going on. And third one is the diagrammatic view. This is the place where you will be able to see operations undergoing for this particular data. So suppose you have bought the data from the source, and you are applying some kind of transformation over here where you can see it is connected to the lakehouse. So this is how a diagrammatic view gives you a picture of what is going on with your data. So then comes the table view or data preview, where you will be able to see the preview of the data. One has the operations are added over here. So this flow continues. As of now, you are only able to see a single flow, but the flow continues if there are small transformations. If you want to remove the nulls, if you want to filter some things, if you want to join or remove a particular column from this data set, yes, this is where the flow continues. Now, the last part comes the query settings. So here you will be able to see what is the destination of this file that is going to sit. So this is the data destination file. You can even change this destination, but by default, it will be located to your default lakehouse in your current workspace. So applied steps are nothing but that have undergone to prepare the data before it is loaded into this destination. That is about this query settings. Basically, whatever you do manually is done with small steps like just selecting on the interface of the screen, UI of this Power Query. Now, in today's hands-on, I'll be taking a data from a GitHub, and I'll be bringing it to the current lakehouse in my current workspace. So in this whole process, we'll create a workspace, then create a lakehouse, then create a data flow to ingest this into this lakehouse. Then we will add the data using our data flow capability. To run this data flow, we need to run canvas. That is like a pipeline canvas, and we can run it over there. And then we can see the results in the lakehouse where the data has been settled down in the lakehouse. First thing is, let us create a workspace. I hope you are aware of how to create a workspace, right? Spark session, make sure that you go to the monitor before anything and delete all the activities. So you need to remove this activities over here before you start the Spark sessions. That was affected because of the older Spark sessions were running over here. So let me create a new workspace. So I'll give the workspace name as data flows demo, and I'll just click on apply. So this will create a workspace in few seconds. Yes, here it goes. So now the first thing when you create a data flow is to create a data storage. So I'll be creating a data store, that is the lake house, and I'll be giving it as a name as lake 1. Click on create. Now I have created a workspace, then I have created lake house. Now I need to ingest the data to this lake house. So to ingest the data to this lake house, now I'll be using data flows. A lake house, you need to click on this new data flow gen 2. So I'll be clicking on it. So I'll be by default keeping the name as data flow 1, and please enable these Git integration and deployment pipelines and public API scenarios. If you do not enable this, you will not be able to fetch the data from external sources apart from Fabric environment. I want to bring the data from GitHub to Fabric Lakehouse, so I have to enable this. Just click on create. This will create the interface for the data flow. So this is the Power Query interface as I showed you earlier. You can see all the parameters over here. So now I will be sharing you a link for the data. So you can use this link for the data set. So I hope you guys have received the link, right?
Yes.
So now, in order to import our data from GitHub, you need to select import text CSV file. So you can also import different places. You can even import from your local from Excel, and you can also import from SSMS and any other ready data flows that are already present in Azure. You can just import it using this. So I'll just click on this import text CSV. So here you will get the connect to data source interface. So as you've gone through data factory components, you would remember collect and connect. So this is a part of it. This is what it refers to. So I'm using a link to import it. So it is in the GitHub, right? So I'll be using that link. So whichever the link I have shared with you, you can use that here. And in the connection credentials, please select the create new connection and let the data gateway be none because it's an open link and it doesn't have any such conditions. And authentication, as of now, it is a public domain and we don't have any authentication kinds for it. Whereas in your wherever you will be deployed to the project, it will be an organizational account and it will have a service principal authentication. So here it is anonymous. Let us keep it as anonymous and let the other things be default. Now click on next. This will set up the connection between the GitHub and the data flow within Fabric, and you'll be able to see the preview of the data over here. So once you're able to see it, you can click on create. So the whole data interface will be created on this Power Query. So where you minimal operations. So once the data is visible over here, now you need to click on data. No, I'll be adding a custom column with a month number. So it'll take the month as a number over here. So I want to know which month does this order belong to. Basically, this is an orders table. I want a column as a month number which depicts the which month this sales order ID has been here. So let me just create the column. Click on the add column in your Power Query bar and click on custom column. So there are many options over here. So these are the different options to add a column, whether it's a scientific, whether you want to perform some scientific operation for that column, then you will be using this. The trigonometric column, you will be using the options over here. If you want to round off some of the columns and create a rounding off column for the particular data, then you will be using this. As of now, I want to give a custom column to get only the month from this order date. So I'll just click on this custom column. So this is the small interface that occurs to give a custom column name and just give the formula under this. So I'll be giving the column name as month number, and as the month, it should contain the whole number. So I'll give it as a whole number, and I need to give a formula to this. How will it identify? So there are some Power Query formulas. You can refer this link for the Power Query formulas. So I'll be using the date dot month using this column order date, and I'll click on OK. So you can see here, as soon as I added a custom column, you can see the applied steps over here. First, I have bought the source. Then I have added a column. So you can see the operations over here, and also you can see the reflected operation in the preview as well. So here is your new column. So it is the 6th month. So it is depicted as the 6 over here. So let us move forward. Now you can also see our data flow over here. It was only till here. We changed the column. What was the change we have done? We have added the data column. So whenever you see this icon, this is the default destination for the lake house. So as of now, the default destination is the lake one. So I can remove this and add a new destination. So in order to add a new destination, you can just click on this plus button, which tells us add data destination. Here I'll be choosing the lakehouse itself because I need the data in my lakehouse. When I click on it, I will be able to see the default lakehouse, whichever is available in my current workspace. So it has taken the same account with its credentials. It's a connection created. So I'll click on next. So you can give the table name. I will give the table name as order table. So this is the data workflows demo in the workspace, and this is our lake where it has been connected to create this table. You can just click on it, and this new table, as you can see here, this new table will be created in lake 1. If it is an existing table, you can just click on this existing table, or if you want to create it in a new file, you can just create it on a new file. You can just click on next. So now here we can see that the destination with the source type. Now, if you want to define the destination type with the data type, if you want to change the data type, you can change it over here, or else you can leave it for automatic set. Do not use these automatic settings. It is recommended use the update method with append, so that if you don't want to replace any of this data type or the source type, you can just click on append. So this will append all the columns, and click on this save settings. This is the destination setting where you want to make sure that the table is sitting properly with the correct data types, because from there you will be using it for multiple layers of passing the data to multiple layers, which you will be seeing it in upcoming classes. So now our data has been sent to this destination. Now it's time to save. So save and run this data flow. So for that, just click on this home, and you can see an option called save and run. This will save your changes. So whatever the changes we have done for the particular data set, well, bringing it from the source till this data flow has been. Now data set, whatever the transformations or updates we have done to our lake house, we need to run this data flow. So in order to run this, you need to create a pipeline within your workspace. So click on home, go to the workspaces, current workspace. So here you should be able to see that the data flow has been created. Now take a new item and search for pipelines. So this is used for running the data flows or creating the pipelines. Everything is done over here. So data flow is a separate capability where you can prepare it and then add it to the pipeline. Now, in order to add that data flow to your pipeline, this is a pipeline canvas. Now I will click on pipeline activity. So here you will get different options, whether you want to copy data or copy a job or data flow. So I'll click on data flow because I want to run the data flow. So here, this is the general settings where this is the canvas where you'll be able to see the activities. So my data flow is a part of activity of the pipeline. Now, in order to get our data flow to this canvas, just go to settings, click on refresh, make sure you're in the same workspace, select the workspace where the data flow is created and click on this. Click on the data flow whichever I have created. So whatever I have created as a data flow 1 will be here. I'll just take it and click on save. So publish and save both refers to the same term. So whereas in Azure before called as publish, but now it is termed as save. So once it is saved, you will get a notification over here. Now the next step is you need to validate this data. So the pipeline validation output tells that it has been validated. There are no errors. So if there are any errors in the complete flow, you will be able to see it over here. And let us click on close. And so, okay, now your pipeline has been successfully saved. You have to get this message. Only then you can run it. Now let us run this. So the data flow activity is going to run. So in order to monitor this data flow runs, either you can go to monitor and output status or the pipeline run status, or in the same interface, you will be able to see it in under the output category. So this is same as this one. Okay, you can see the activity one. You can see it is in progress and it is submitted by which person. It is my account. So where is the location of this data flow where it is processing? So once the pipeline is succeeded, you will see a green tick over here. So if I just go back to this pipeline, you will be able to see the data flow run status. So it is in progress. Finally, the data flow has been successfully run with this setup, and you should always be able to see this. Once you're able to see that the pipeline status is succeeded, which means that all the set of activities which you have gone through till now has been successfully implemented, and you will be able to see the table created in the lakehouse. So go back to your lakehouse and refresh it. So I'll just refresh the lakehouse, be able to see the tables over here. You can see this order table, right? The table has been created along with the update. You can see the month number added to it. This is about the data flow. Once again, to summarize the things, first we have created the workspace. Within the workspace, we have created the lakehouse, that is our target area. Then in the lakehouse, we have selected the data flow to get the data from our external source, that is GitHub. Using the data flow activity, we have created a connection between the GitHub and the Fabric lakehouse, and we have done a small update to our data by adding one column, that is the month number, using a small formula over there. Then we have saved this data flow and attached this data flow by creating a pipeline canvas over as a data item. Pipeline canvas is one of the data item where you can run all your instances. So data flow is one of the instance where the operations needs to run in order to make the data move from the source to the target. So in the pipeline, we have just brought up our data flow activity and we have ran it, and it has successfully completed the activity, and it activity has resulted in creation of a table in our lakehouse.
If there is a single activity, then the pipeline itself gets validated, and after getting validated, it can run.
Validation is whether you just bring a data flow or create n number
It's
of
kind of compilation in C++ and
Yes, yes. In order to verify whether you're not gone wrong in any of the steps, all your data are connected to the correct data types for the target so that it doesn't mismatch with the data or it doesn't create any problem when it is in the target.
actually, the question I was trying to ask Mahanta sir was the same, that we can apply minimal transformations while copying the data.
Yes. Y-
Yes, that was the
Yes.
question. And I can see it here. We are applying.
Yes. It is a very minimal transformations.
Yes, yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
So now your query has been cleared, I guess.
Resolved
Yeah,
automatically by
resolved.
Nanda sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome.
That's all for now. Like and subscribe and turn on notifications for future videos. Thank you.